If that's you, Tija, please go right ahead. If that's you, Tija, please go right ahead. Good evening, everyone. Sensei will be with us in just a few minutes. Thank you, Tija. It was lovely.
Pleasure.
Good evening, Sensei.
Good evening, Lauren. Thank you. Thank you, Tija. I take a moment for Kauai. Yeah. Okay. have you been trying to call me this week? No? Okay. Because I get a couple of calls from Hawaii and it's usually you, but I usually don't pick up because the phone says scam or something like that. But it wasn't you. I won't call you back then. No, not you.
I've been wanting to, but
Well, there you go.
I read
See,
my
it's
mind.
too strong. It appears in my phone. I got to stop that. Yeah. Anyway. Okay. So what's the write-up for tonight?
Activating the core.
Activating the core. I think we covered a fair amount of that last class. But I got nothing, so probably I'd like to sort of go over it again and see what you have to say about it. Kind of like, okay, so as we understand it, in the early part of creation, there was like all energy, they called it all ki, all whatever. Okay. Now, ding, 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 here we are. Okay. We got caught up in the vortex and got tighter and heavier and dumber. Here we are, human condition. But one piece is different pieces. One piece, the character, the body character, okay? And careful of the word body, because later we go past the heavy sense of a body into a little finer sense of a body. It's still here and functioning. Anyway, there is a bit of energy available. Now, some people in their sort of normal have a low energy. Their battery is running out and they're kind of, and they can't get going. Okay, we all have moments, but some people are like, every day is there, kind of thing. So, because there is this more and more and more and more available, okay, so whether we look at it dimensionally or in stages, okay, you have a nice resource there with that inner energy capability. Now, it's not good enough just to know about it. That's that guy up there. Oh, yeah, I believe in all energy. Yeah, right? The core of it for this better lineup presence is here. So we're talking about hara, we're talking about tantian or whatever Chinese words, whatever. Okay, talk about it here and here and here. Okay, where are we going? Like a battery, it has to be recharged. Now, how it seems to recharge itself is any kind of 2 beats in and out, for example. If you're just doing the centered character, we used to use a lot of up and down. And as we got more harmony with the up to the down and the down to the up, it'd be, hey, and who are you now? And you'd be a better character. Here we're highlighting the energy core that's there at that level. Okay. So it's kind of a gift. If you don't, I like the word activate. If you don't get involved, help it activate, not just get involved mentally. Yes, I believe again. No. You can start with that, but as soon as possible, you got to come here and actualize. Okay. Pump. Another phrase I use with that is pump the pump. Okay. Pump the pump. If Susan's on tonight, she likes, I think, that phrasing, pump the pump. So there are different forms where you can use that beat or that pump to get it going, to activate it. Then once it's active, it can more easily move into the next levels of itself, where it's more finer of the same. It's still energy, but it's a finer level or a stronger level or a more beautiful level, whatever. Okay. if we're going to start from here, I think last time I mentioned one simple way of looking at it is like there's a baseball size core that is energy. And when I activate it, it starts to come alive, Okay. So we'll start, for example, dumb example, sorry. Next to be a softball size. Okay? So the baseball size will, as it comes alive and beats with itself, can move into click the next level, softball size. That size, as it continues with its activation at that level size of itself, click. See, the harmony brings us to, I'm using O-sensei's words here. Don't screw these up for now. These are O-sensei to me. Harmony to balance. Now, I like to experience the word balance as a doorway. So when you get to this and that, in whatever form you're doing it, this and that, or this and that, or this and that, or this and that, and this and that, whatever form you're using. Whatever form you're using, you're just playing with the two beats. You're getting involved with the two beats. Okay. Any kind of harmony, I like the sense of brings you to a doorway where you can move into the next dimension. Hey, who am I in this next dimension? Feel yourself. Breathe yourself. Have some simple way of checking that it's that it's not just an idea. Oh yeah, I'm a much better person because I believe, and nothing's happening. So simple checks that you ought to be able to create your own games. We've shown you some simple Aikido ones. Check the arm if we're playing with an energy sense, and that amount of energy flows through. And the arm is a little bit longer, not quite as painful as it often is. My shoulders are bad. whatever. So you can find your own checks for how you're doing, moving along. Baseball, softball, basketball. Okay. Eventually, we'll run out of ball examples, and I'll change the word to field. So from core, I'll change the word to field. Field should be more, would infer full size to the body. Okay. All right. So core. More original of all of this, field energy. So it's kind of a big jump, but don't mind going through. Don't be cute on me. Don't be, oh yeah, I know all this shit. I'm very spiritual. I did whatever yoga and I stood on my head, and don't give me that shit. Don't mind going through baseball, basketball, fuller and fuller, and checking whatever exercise you're going to use to check. Could be how you're plunking the guitar. I don't know. Make it up. Find something. Okay. Just as a check that it is in fact glowing. Have a good feeling for your body so you can tell when you move into the next level, if you actually have that, oh, my body feels stronger. More support from the back. Whoa, there's a lot of back support there. Whoa. Okay. So you got the simple pattern. I think we talked about it a couple of weeks ago, but it's nice pattern. I wanted to go over it. All right. So core. And then we'll use the word field after a bit to get that larger. Okay. A really good field presence. That's where the walking under pressure is a good one. We use it earlier, but you'll notice earlier, a lot of the walk under pressure, people are just having a beam and they walk with that beam, or that beam helps them move along. Not wrong, but there's more. So as you get from a core beam effect to more fuller field, then the fuller of the body walking should even get much better. Okay, no tentative foot touching the ground tentatively, unsure. None of that should be there at a level like field presence level. Are we okay so far? Help me here. Talk to me. Talk to me. Good basic, good basic. We all need energy to survive every day. Yeah, here's a simple tap on it.
Sensei Teja here.
Hey, Tisha there.
All right. One of the things that I really appreciate about what you're saying is the vitality or the aliveness of the core. It's not just an energy thing. So it responds beautifully to that pulsing, that pump, what you call the pump or the two beat. And
seems like that's how it activates itself. Yeah.
it does seem that that is how it activates itself. And the interesting thing that's similar in the Asian traditions is that the Dantian or the Hara, as it is referenced in those languages, is considered a bio battery. It's a kind of storage place, and it's different in that sense than the field of the heart or the field of the head. Not they have their own kind of presence, but it's really the Hara or the lower Dantian.
Yeah, let's not confuse the folks by getting into chakra bodies and stuff right now. Okay, we'll get there. We'll get there.
All right, but it's just
as an energy source to be alive.
Yeah, it's a source to be alive, and it responds well to the pulses. That's kind of what I was taken by your introduction to the theme.
Yeah,
that's what
there was this very early in the beginnings of creation, very early in there. Starting to get past my pay grade, so bear with me. It seemed like it did an in-out beat to be part of the beginnings of creation. And that beat, center to circle, circle to center, is still going on all the way down the line. Okay? So anytime we do a beat like that, we're following this, what appears to be a very original beat, very, very original fineness before things got heavier. So they're more in the open of the vortex, and then you come down here to the vortex, but it's still doing that beat at each level. Bing, bang, beep, okay. So we could say even a worm probably has an in-out beat. There you go. Go measure worms.
Just look at how it moves. You know, there's a pulsing and an undulation. Yeah.
Okay.
You look at an atom. And it also is moving, has that pulse to it too. Cells do as well. So
once you start using all these technical words like cells and atoms and what?
Thank you.
Thank you. Yeah, I don't want to side shift too much, but as chakra bodies, for example, when we continue with physical body into the finer and into more original, along someplace in there, we'll mention, in fact, I'm working with Teja to have him lay out the different oriental, what should we call that, Teja? Different levels of body maps?
There are various body maps according to the traditions out of which they came. There's the Vedic and there's the Chinese, there's the,
So everybody has realized that there's other levels of a body here in the inner, finer awareness, they experiential, realize, whatever, these different bodies. Is that okay to say it that way, Teja?
Yeah, I think so. It's subtle body. You could say it's,
Yeah. Okay, what we're going to do, is I'm asking him to try to lay them out in some order. Okay? As best as he can. Saying, well, these guys say right about here, this kind of body shows, but these north Chinese people say, no, this kind of body shows or something. Anyway, try to get some sense of their pattern. Just some sense. Okay.
Yeah, there are differences, I think we could say, and their similarities. That's what's interesting.
We'll see as you lay this out and we dialogue with it.
I'll do the best I can.
Experience it. Anyway, people, that's where me and TJ are heading with this. And what I was just going to say as a sideline was chakra bodies. What I'm thinking about is instead of having, well, this chakra and this chakra and this chakra and this chakra and this chakra, and everybody loves the heart chakra. Oh, the heart chakra. Well, you get a bunch of chakras. So what I'm thinking of is chakra body, all those chakra vibrations, colors, mixing into that energy field underlying, and be the fullness of it, as opposed to just choosing one or the other, or putting some. The lower ones aren't very important. It's the upper ones that are really important. Screw you, that's not true. They're all important. The fullness of things is important. Oh, heaven is important, but the deeper, finer, truer dimensionality of earth is not. That's ugly. That's horrible. The devil lives down there. That's a quagmire. No, that's your heavy look at it as you sense inner, finer, and do the same thing with the world we're in as you do with this upper, hey, it's lighter and it's, you'll realize, oh my God, this under half is damn important. And it's a partner to the upper, to the under, to the under, to the upper, heaven on earth kind of thing. Or what do you want to call it? Anyway, I digressed. Let's come back. I believe this, talk to me. What are you getting out of this, having a battery support energy supply that you can activate and have more endurance, activate and come more alive when you have to? This is a nice gift that we have access to. Okay. Everybody's got a battery, whatever you want to call this. Everyone's got a core. Okay. Some people play with it more naturally and readily, and some get special with it. So there's a whole book in Japan from 1940s, Hara. Is that the name of the book?
Yes.
Hara? Yeah.
Yes. There's a book called Hara.
Where this Westerner went to Japan and realized the word Hara came up, and it was coming from a lot of special people, special artists or whatever, actors or whoever, and that they were special people. They had fame and whatever. Hara was an important word there. Where I was heading with that is some people are more natural or played with it, and but it's there available, so you can all play with it. It's not that hard. It's just a fun game. Okay. So you can move through your baseball to your basketball to your whatever, and just kind of actually be more alive and actually kind of glow and even at that level would be the beginnings of a healing process. We try to bring people a little further, so we bring in the self to even try to be in a finer place, and the radiations of the energy from that level to and through the body. Me and Susan laid out as a pretty damn good healing factor. We're getting pretty good results with some odd cases. So far, so good. I'm getting lost. Help me. Where are we?
Sensei, I wanted to jump in. I appreciate what you're saying about field and core to field. And for me personally, the two beats of creation that are the portal for me have always been my breath.
Yeah.
Breath.
Yeah. Inhale, exhale. Hello. Yes.
Right. And
one simple one, well used throughout the centuries. Yes.
Yes. I thought I was the first person to discover this, but it turns out. And so your image of a pump or a bellows, really I've always used that as well. But what I want to say is that when I went to Japan, I learned this word kokyu ryoku, right? So literally breath power. And people talked about O Sensei's breath power. And I have been asked to, what is it? And it's, all your power together aligned, but then it's more than that too, because it's this field, it seems like. And I wonder if you could, talk about how O Sensei talked about developing the field.
No, we didn't talk about that thing in particular, but I can say what his training philosophy, what his training was.
Okay.
And his training was in these 2 beats. And who was he at that finer, more original level that he got to? And again, and more original, who am I? And from that emanated one hell of a lot of power, amongst other things. See, I don't want to do O Sensei an injustice just by saying he was a tough martial artist. Was he aware of compassion? Was he aware of love? Did he know about the chakra body? This is a shit I hear, people, because we tend we were sort of wowed by O Sensei because the power was all, we were dumb. All we could see was these guys flying. You say, oh my God, he's strong. We never said, did you see the harmony that affected those guys so they could fly that way? We didn't have eyes to see. So we did the typical martial art languaging of son of a bitch is strong, has a lot of power. But it's based on this. So based on this, be careful of getting caught up in power of breath, because you'll end up in Gold's Gym with a heavy bench press. And as you know, that's not going to be enough, since it came from a much better level than that. Okay, so no, I don't have details on that. I just got the bigger picture. Yeah,
it seems to me that what you call a field might be similar to what O Sensei called this kokyu ryoku, because he clearly wasn't talking about arm strength or physical strength at that point.
Of course not.
Yeah. So thank you.
Yeah. Also, possibly in movement where breath power could show, might have been part of the 2 beat still, where it's receptive, guys moving in, caught up in a receptive, and then its partner is positive, and that would be called breath throw. So inhale, exhale, but not not that guy.
Yeah,
the bigger of the system inhaling and exhaling. That's closer to the truth there. Yeah.
Yes.
And again, it's any interest in anything, it's up to you people to sit and play. Remember the laboratory? There's the library. We just laid out some words about this. Maybe not too clearly, but he said them. I sort of filled it in a little bit. There's a laboratory. You play. And as you play and more fully experience the gymnasium effect. Boom, boom. Blah, blah, blah. Let's not lead you astray, somebody. Where are we? What are you getting out of this? Having a core, battery, life energy.
Bob, Steve here.
Hey, Steve.
What I was doing with this for the last couple of weeks is activating the core, experiencing that, and my sense was much of what activated was a center, character center, but beyond the individual character, and as that activated and got stronger and stronger and open to a field, it seemed like as a center person, I tended to move to the field, tended to move to
The
a
circle.
situation world.
Yeah.
Does that make
That's
sense?
that's typical pattern. Jesus.
Yeah.
Yes. That's all
Okay, just
basic
something
for
that
me.
I
Yeah.
Okay, yeah.
Center types. We improved our center up and down and we got better. We improved our center beats up and down, or we let them show us how they moved and and we're affected by that and hey, better. After a bit, because the picture is bigger than just the center, after a bit at a certain level, you're going to go, wait a minute, what about the world I'm in?
Yeah.
Okay. I told you old sensei stories. That's why I tell you these stories over and over. He was damn good at being centered. He had that down really good. He picked up a little extra from Takeda because he was missing a little bit. He got very good with center. Of course, having a better center, the world around him, he noticed was being affected, but he didn't have a big, finer, more original sense of it. So he has to meet Deguchi, who says, that's cool. You're really cool, but that's not your trip. You're not meant to be a super Takeda. You get your own trip here. And so he introduces them to the circle. Okay. And because Osensei had spent so much time invested in the center to let go of that, all that he had, to play with circle, which at first in its bigness and fineness was kind of new. And apparently Deguchi had him go through all kinds of weird shit. I can't give you any examples right now that make sense to you, but and where he told me if he didn't trust that Deguchi was really a superior spiritual being, he would have cut and run, because it's so strange for a centered person to suddenly be thrust into understand how the circle works. Okay, so that's why I tell you the story. So it's no shock that you get a better center and suddenly you're starting to play with circle a bit more. I already told that story 3 times in the last 3 years, right? Pay attention. Help me, people. Where are we?
Sensei, it's Justin. In my experience, I've been noticing that as you pointed out early on in today's meeting, that at the beginning it really is just this field. It's just the field where it might be more or less dense or more or less intense, but it's just this one thing. So with me a breathing practice of expanding and condensing toward a core, but it's also the field. And
the field is an expanded core, no?
Exactly so. Yeah, it's expanded. And well, there's a sense of core center within this field, but it's only a reference point for me. But there's also the field, and it's only the field where it's more or less dense or intense. And to come back to something that you were talking, you and Tisha, about the chakras and chakra bodies, it should be noted that the physical dense body is an energy body. And those chakras are connected to the glands and nerve centers of the physical body. So there's a connection point all the way through from the most dense to the
of course, yeah.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah. So that's been where I'm just working on this more intense or condensed and expanded sense of field, and what body means as it's actually experienced in its field-like nature. Chakras aside.
I'm sure as you move into a finer dimension of viewing your patients, he's an acupuncturist, in case other people watching didn't know that, that you have the potential of seeing energy meridians and stuff much more than you've been taught. That's an endless possibility of what you'll see and know as you're move into your finer dimensions, what you'll be aware of. Did I say that right?
It's true, and I love that we don't really have to know, because the
it'll unfold
provided to us.
You want to know, you go back to school, and they'll do library shit with you, which is fine.
Yes,
but we're talking about play in the laboratory in your job. And when you get proficient at a certain level, you demand at that level.
Yes. Yeah, we were chatting about this a couple of weeks ago, and that working in communication between field and the field of the client, and what the energy is saying, it has its own story. And I've been practicing for 25 years as a professional capacity, and there's ways to manipulate the needles that they talk about in textbooks, and it never really was a natural. But the energy is now, wiggle it like this or spiral it like this, the needle or whatever, or wait until the energy opens and then begin the acupuncture and stay present. Stuff like that really wasn't front and center with just an acupuncture.
You saying these things are starting to unfold.
Yeah, the energy is saying about itself.
And
Hey, the energy likes to move in spirals, so put the needle like this or do like that or whatever. That wasn't like an idea like, well, maybe I should spiral the needle. It came up from the energy itself, which I thought was really fascinating. And
remember, we have main aspects of creation. Not only is it all energy, it's all intelligent, all harmonious, all powerful. There are some major things that are there. Yeah. So, yeah. Okay. Where are we? And for what we started the conversation with, I really like Noah's rendition of Chen Menching. Okay? I really like that story. If you listen to that story carefully, I'll say it my way, Bob, jump in anytime. For whatever reason, he's drawn to Tai Chi, and he goes to Tai Chi and picks up a bit of core and the energy. Oh, that's nice. That's cute. And he kind of likes that. Okay. Then he has some other busy stuff to do, so he stops studying Tai Chi and he goes off into the world and does whatever he's doing. At which time he gets very sick. Bob, very sick. Jump in.
Yeah, he got tuberculosis and almost died.
Okay, very sick. At which time he went back to the Tai Chi group and really started to play with this next levels of energy core radiating. Okay. When he got very adept at that, he also got healed. He said, wow, this is very important. So he continued and become a great master at energy Tai Chi. I love that lineage, the way that I present it. Any bitches from you, Bob?
No, that's it.
Yeah, that's it.
And to reinforce what you're saying about the importance of experience, he said if you lose the two beat experientially, your system begins to run down, and then you get to that low battery place. That the two beat has to be an experiential thing, or it doesn't really help, and in fact you begin to lose ground.
What word are you saying? To be?
Two beat.
To beat.
Beat.
To beat. Yeah.
Got it.
He talked about it in terms of fire and water, but there's all kinds of two beat versions, like the breath thing you were talking about, Lauren.
That's a two beat. Da is a two beat. Jum is a two beat. Yeah, they're all over the place. Two beats anyway. My little side thing, watching the one show from Arnold Schwarzenegger's 3-show presentation. I would love, maybe he has, but I never read it or heard about it. Love to know his sense of how he was tapping, because he was definitely tapping. He had some kind of core, of course, and he was tapping that. Okay. And I'd love to hear, in his words, his sense of the core, his relationship with the core. Okay. I've heard him more than once talk about he's got good visualization. He can visualize what he'd like. But then he does the second part. Touches that core and And you can see it in his posing in one of those old movies. What's the old movie, Bob?
Pumping Iron. Pumping Iron.
I don't know if it shows in that movie, but he could hit a hit and then he'd boom, and he'd hit that same hit, but he would show more and the audience would go crazy, and he'd hit it again and it would be more again. And they'd go really crazy, and some of it you'd hit it again. He had this capability of touching this and boom through his body. Boom through his body. And he just wowed the audience. Yeah. Anyway, so I know he has a sense and utilizes this. I just would like to hear it from his words. No big deal, just my own personal kind of thing. If I bump into him one day, I'll say, hey, Arnie, why don't you help the people out and explain a little bit clearer on that part of it? Somebody, where are we? Where are we? On this process of, it started with physical body, and then someday we'll go through these other bodies according to the Chinese, Nepalese, Japanese, whoever, and fun around there a bit. Eventually, we want to knock off the manifest level of going finer and finer and finer and finer. Okay. You need a little practice, Bobby to Robert to Nadeau. You need a minimum, something like that. Okay. And then someplace in there when you feel pretty organized as Nadeau or your name, your title, I'll change the words to more original. More original. It's like let's say the manifesto say is that big. Once you get a sense, oh yeah, and you get a sense of how it works, and you're okay there, now it's more original. That underlying dimensional level, and maybe you've seen past the way we use the words dimension, that level that underlies the manifest, that more original, or I hate to use the words finer because I'm just saying, no, we won't use those words after a bit. We'll shift the words to more original. Okay, more original. And you're probably starting to tap potentially more original when you start to get a clear sense, not an idea about, okay, careful here, but an experiential sense of this thing we call self. Okay. The texture, Danny called me from New Zealand. He's coming along fine. And it's appeared to me that he was talking about this area and wanted to double check with me about being in this area. And the way he talked about the texture was different and it sounded like the beginnings of an opening into domain territory. So that's going to diverge too much, so let's let that go. But I did remind Danny last week when we were talking about the Tai Chi example. I was talking about with Bob, because he ran into a real nice quality that he really enjoyed. And it's like, wow, what's this about? And I just reminded him, don't forget the core energy practice. I'd hate to see him, what do you call it when you get re-sick? What's re-sick?
Remission, or no.
Relapse.
Relapse. Not now. He's doing great. No relapsing. So continue to put a little time in with the energy beats I suggested to him. Okay. Yeah. In a certain way, Chen Manching, when he was first at the Tai Chi place, first caught a bit of core and wow, but then he left. We could call that a remission effect. Anyway, forget that. It's warm out here today. You people in New Zealand, I have nothing to say to you. It's just so hot here. It's their winter, by the way. It's so hot here. The sun is like, oh, it's too much. I guess I get no votes from New Zealand. Yes. Okay, where are we? I was wondering, and I'm not clear on it yet because it just jumped in my head this week. That when this battery starts to quiet down a bit, much like that the mental part of ourselves starts to also be affected by that and quiets down. So if you try to get the knowledge about to do something, it's like, no, I'm tired. I wouldn't try to get the, whatever you want to call that unit, your mind or whatever, to start this activation, because the battery may have gone down so dead, and it followed up here, and this one kind of dead. To try to get your idea to go, oh yeah, wow, pump to pump. If you can do it, great. But I think kind of realize that the real battery is here in the core, is the beginning of that battery. Okay. And it will unfold and unfold like we've been talking about. So anyway, so just something that popped in that I didn't have a chance to clarify. But in case your mental attitude is, I don't want to do a beat. An actual beat is kind of simple. Out comes in, and in, from in goes out. From out it comes back in, and from in it goes out. Just to start that, to try to start it here, I had a feeling that it's hard for some people. I didn't say that well, did I? Figure it out. There's meaning in there someplace. Figure it out. Okay. As we move into, from get enough finer to get the sense of things and experience of things, and we move into more original. At the moment, I'm not sure which aspects will show for you. Okay. Steve, you've been funning around here for a bit. When you think you made your transition into past manifest, okay, into domain territory, what brought you into there? And were you a character that somebody said, whoa, shit, there's a self here? Who is this? Is it self? Right there. What were you following to get there? And did it change when you got there? Real quick.
Yeah, I would usually start with a character, and what would change, first thing I would notice, a combination of things, it would be texture would definitely change. It would have more of a kind of a quality of thickness, almost like if you were laying cement or plaster on a wall. The plaster would suddenly have more three-dimensionality.
And what was your sense of what that was?
To me, and also there would be a glowing quality.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. That's the one I was looking for right now.
Yeah.
Anything lighter, brighter, glowing would be quite natural for most people, I believe. Okay. And anyway, when you transition into this underlying, more original place, okay, remember we laid the map out. Manifesto, since I called it hidden, I call it whatever I call it, domain, and heavenlies. That they're an overlaid thing. You got to be careful, by the way. Heavenly, you get careful with that. Careful with that. We need the entire structure and then return back to the entire structure. Anyway, am I losing me? Am I losing you? As you make that move into, say, that level, I'm not sure what you might bump into. You might pick up the sense of, oh, I need to play with space here, more openness, more space, possibly. It might be the sense of, I'm here, but it's not my normal I. Who is this? And you might bump into self. Okay. You might bump into in the larger space, the more clarity of center to circle, circle to center. Okay. And how that works. You might bump into more clarity about qualities. Okay. Suddenly qualities may show there very, very clearly, like this vastness of you gotta be careful of the word vastness. I don't want to zone out there someplace. But the sense of it's vast, but here and now vast. And it might start to show the beginnings of your qualities. We each have our own color scheme. Okay, yeah. Our own qualities, color scheme, colorings, yeah. So I'm not sure. That's why I try to, back when a ways, lay out the main pieces. So at any time, if you were to run into something, you might recognize that, oh yeah, that's a main piece. Not to already mentioned that. Yeah, let me hang out here with that for a bit and let it express itself and clarify itself. So I'm just leaving it more. I'm not telling you what should happen. I'm saying a lot of possibilities. I'm not sure if there's a higher percentage with one aspect of it or what. Not sure yet. I have my experience, but I don't want to say, well, my experience, everybody should have that exact same experience. Your color scheme is different. What's important to you on your travel will be important for you at that time. Okay. All I'm saying is the big schematic, as I try to lay it out, consists of all the big pieces as best as I can understand, hear from O Sensei, whatever, the things that I do, just try to clarify as best as I can. Where are we going? Where am I going? Talk to me, people. Questions, problems, experiences. None? No one has ever had an experience in the last couple of weeks playing with core energy radiating? Zilch? That's sad. That's sad.
Hi, Sensei.
Yes.
Is core and the self the same thing, or are they different?
No, different. I'm
Awesome.
using core as an energy related in the body world, and the continuation of body as the energy that is there with that particular piece. Self would have its own vibrational hum. It has its own. It's like cookie cutters, kind of thing. The body and the continuation of body is a particular cookie style, star or whatever. Okay, self, particular cookie cutter, whatever, an elephant, boom. So they each have their own energy that appears to still follow the same 2-beat in its development. So as a body plays, as I body play with a 2-beat, it moves me along into a better body. Okay. Self, just instead of hovering, saying, oh, I'm self. And by the way, this happens too much. Selves get very, I call it the helium effect. Oh, I'm free from the body. Big mistake. Oh, and I'm just floating and expanding out. I call that the helium effect this week. I was like, no. It's alive itself, and the pump is its way of moving into the more original of itself. You can't just stop because you said, oh, self, I've got it all. That's the end of it. No, no, no. Double check, and double check. I suspicion there are levels of self. Same way there are levels of Bobby is not the end all here. There's Robert, and Robert is not the end all. There's Nadeau. That pattern continues. So careful with self that you don't make it everything too fast. Hang out. Continue seeing if it doesn't have its own form of two beating. Its sense as a two beat to continue its growth. Did I say that? Okay. Did I answer your question? I'm sure I did. Okay.
You said the core has its own, sorry, I didn't quite catch the beginning.
The
Core has
body
its own-
has a core. The core is energy for the body as we're presenting it. Yeah.
Yep.
Brad, come up here, man. Can we do something on here? Let's see if I can stay in camera. Yeah, I can stay in camera. Brad, come over here. Boom, give me a hit. Oh, come on, give me a punch. That's not a punch, Jesus Christ. Punch, okay, wait. Inner energy core radiates through the body. Body. Better? He bounced back instead of me bouncing back. So I know it's a bit better. I had a check here. Okay, ow. So that was energy for the body. Yeah. And energy for the body goes a long distance. Don't think just body and then it stops, because there's finer bodies, as Miatesia we're talking about, and there's archetype bodies, which Laura and I will get into it eventually. Archetype bodies, so that energy inherent in bodies continues and continues and continues. Okay, if a different aspect shows, then it's the energy of that aspect. Are you following me? So I can't say it any better. I'm sure. Bob, can you say it better than I'm mumbling about here?
I don't know if I can, but I what I'm hearing from you is that it's a process of dimensionality through experiencing the process experientially, and then allowing the process to carry you along. I remember one of the things people said about Professor Cheng is his Tai Chi advanced so fast that a lot of his peers in his group couldn't understand how he got to be so much better than they were when they'd been training for much longer time than he had. But
he was so fast at it, yeah.
To me, he sort of went into it with a broader perspective that reminds me of why your perspective on Osensei was so much bigger than other people's. It's because you went into it with a bigger perspective and then worked it.
Yeah, I really, from the get-go with Osensei, I never said, yeah, I got to learn those techniques. Well, I'm into martial arts, so of course I want to learn techniques, but where's this guy coming from? See, the real meaning, where is he coming from? What interior level of development that manifests outward the way he's manifesting? Where is he? How did he get there? And how does it work? Where is he coming from? Now, we didn't answer his question, Bob. His question was about the body energy, and he's confusing the body energy with other main pieces energy.
Yes. Each level of body.
How do we say to him that what we're talking about is the energies related to the body systems? Because it's a main piece. Character is a main ongoing piece. Don't sell it short, people. Go ahead.
I think you just said it. It's a body system, and each level dimensionally of body has its own energies.
Yeah.
And it's not just the physical body, it's all the different bodies as you move
on the way. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's the best we can do on our answer. Sit with it. Play with it.
That's Chip.
Chip, how are you?
Good. I've got kind of a dumb example,
Yeah.
maybe. I was hiking, camping in the woods. And about 5 miles in, carrying a backpack, 45-pound backpack, not too heavy, but heavy enough after some period of time walking a couple miles, the body starts to get a little compressed under the weight of this backpack. Activating core seemed to expand the body and allow the distribution of the weight to become more even in the body. So it had almost like a balloon effect physically.
That's what in class, I used to call in a couple of different techniques, the woo-woo man. You remember the woo-woo man? A balloon effect. I even probably tried to say it's like inflating a balloon. So yes, go ahead.
And all of a sudden, things started changing too. There was a sense of the balloon and more support in the body, and it activated some energies that seemed to kind of come through that space too.
Yeah, that's how it works. This inner activating it radiates outward. So the balloon effect was it radiating outward. The body was being affected, so the distribution, the body was fuller, so the distribution of the weight changed. It wasn't this guy, oh God, it was this guy, something different. So yeah, all those things, yes. That was not a dumb example. Where are we? Anyway, I just thought these earlier presentations were really kind of critical. Not this, again, like everything else, don't sell it short. Sometimes, and I think this is throughout history with all kinds of teachers, where they're leery of throwing out too much of what they know or too advanced, because the people hear it and say, oh yeah, I understand, I got it. And you ain't experientially got it. So by doing that, they can sometimes screw up your true development, because you get sucked into, oh yeah, I don't have to do a baseball and or whatever. I know that in the creation, it was all energy. So, okay, all energy. I'm aware of that, all energy. I don't see it, man. I like the words. I like yes, that's true. But we're here now, and we have to do it this way and this way and this way. So not that. But I understand the original creation was at first all energy. Nice, great, but it can't do you any good. In fact, it can screw you up because you won't do the first basics to move along in your development. Not really. Yeah. Okay. So the human condition, people, human condition. You can say all kinds of things, but people are going to do what they're going to do, unfortunately. Do the best you can. Anything? I feel like we're going to finish up early tonight. Anything? Anything from anybody I never hear from? Do we have anyone out there I never hear from?
You hear from me all the time, but I'm going to jump in again. And that is one thing I've noticed, I've experienced, is that as this circle center in out 2 beats of creation primes the pump, and the pump then starts to kind of take a life of its own, and the energies start flowing with the breath, let's say, whichever 2 beats you want, and they're not your energies. You're not generating this energy. It's flowing through you.
Yeah,
more than like
riding the ride, could we say?
Yes.
It's there
yes.
and it's happening. Now, all we're asking people to do is will you settle down, shut up, open up, and ride the ride that's there, that's trying to show you it's there. It's beautiful. It's powerful. It's intelligent. It's caring. It's all that shit. No, let's do something with it.
It's exactly where you say, easy the eye, Sensei. Right. That's the key. That's the key to me to allowing those energies to start flowing through. And then it is a ride, really, just like you say. And
you let it unveil if it wants to say, oh, by the way, I'm working similar to an in and out breath, because I know you like breath. It knows you. All this activity, you're in your own world. Your own world knows you. and so it'll point out all kinds of things and unfold all kinds of things. Yeah. So that's why I'll often ask people not to be too dogmatic, be open, let it unveil, let it show, let it. Dandy really liked what he realized, something I said to him once of, that you could talk to this activity. In his earlier 25 years of meditation, he said he didn't know that. So he was just probably doing a floaty type meditation. I don't know. But to realize this is intelligence and you can dialogue with it. Okay. I used to bump into things, whatever, back in the day. And I'd say, well, I see ... thing, but I do not understand it. And it would change and show another form. And I say, well, I see that form, but I still don't understand it. And usually by the third one, boom, it would be like the punchline. And then I saw that those forms all had the same attempt to present something, but I couldn't see it with the first one, couldn't see it with the second one, but usually the third one was like the punchline. Oh, that's what it's been trying to lay out. Anyway, sorry, I can't say that any better, but this allowing, this playing with it. The word laboratory is still a good word in these levels. Just fun around. Try this and try a little bit of that, see, and then be open for it and see, experience it. Are we finished with that, Lauren?
yes, Sensei, thank you. It's the key thing I wanted to express is that it goes from I'm doing this exercise, whatever it is, to the field arises, and the field is inflated by this flow of energy, and it's not my flow of energy, right? It's a universal flow of energy that I can tap into, maybe, but that sense of flow of Kino Nagare and technique and all, it's not my flow, it's the flow.
Yeah.
So I to me, that's where the field comes in. It's that sensitivity to those flows, like Justin was talking about, with the feeling the energy that the needle wants to go in as a spiral. It's just kind of, I appreciated that as well. So thank you, Sensei. I'm done.
Yeah. Don't want to speak ill of Aikido, but whatever word you use, doing, was that the word you were using? Doing, Lauren? Doing?
I'm not sure what I said.
He said I do.
Huh?
He said I do.
I do. I think he used doing. That's sort of the downfall of Aikido. They're doing the techniques. That's fine. That's a fine reference. But I want equal time for inner, finer. What level are you sensing inner, finer? And from that place.
Yes.
But still don't do it. But in the beginning, you probably will do at least half a do. But they all do, it seems like to me, and not really the inner work. Not really. That's my bitch, but I don't want to go there because I'll bitch something awful and they'll throw me off the Aikido committee and I'll be blackballed throughout the world. It's hard enough as is.
What you're getting at is to me, the heart of spontaneously arising.
Yeah.
You know, as the counterpoint to I'm doing, and that spontaneity really is facilitated or empowered by this field that you've been talking about tonight, and I find that the
And
more
again,
field, more sense of field, the more it just happens.
And again, one of those lousy words that humans will do the same thing again and again. Oh, I understand that word. Spontaneity, spontaneous. And then they'll try to make off because they understand the word that they're spontaneous. Look at me, Sensei, I'm spontaneous. And I don't think so. Doesn't flavor right. So yes, but be careful of the damn words, people. Be careful of, oh yeah, I understand that word. I got it. Okay. This has screwed up endless amount of beings. Okay. Careful with it. Anyway, thank you, Lauren. I got nothing except more of that. Anybody, anything before we finish? Had a decent time?
Sensei, this is Andrew again.
He's going to try again. Yes, Andrew.
So in improv theater, we have there's kind of like a strategy. It's called yes and. So basically, if you have a partner on stage and let's say they have to play a character, whatever, and for some reason you don't like the way that they're going or some character that they're doing or whatnot, they actually say, don't resist at all. Just say yes and. Just go with it.
Yeah,
so
the flow of it. Yeah.
Yeah. So so many times I've tried to steer the scene to what I wanted it to be.
Of course you do. It's called the human condition.
Yeah. And no, I've been caught on a few times, and the teachers would just say, no, just say yes and, just yes and, just go with it, go with it, go with it. And it's just kind of letting go of that, I want to take this. No, just go with whatever your partner's going, and it becomes reciprocal.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
I use the yes and game a little bit different in my work, but I have always liked yes and. Okay. Yes, what a peaceful quality. And what's the more of it? What's here that I can't see right now, experience right now? Yes, I'll accept that it's whatever I said, nice quality. And does it have a partner? And does it have a finer level? Of course it does. Let it show. So I harmonize with the nice quality, then use that harmony as a doorway to get into the next finer. And be the being also. Don't lose sight of the character. Yeah. Not just, oh, this is nice. That's fine. That's the surroundings, but there's still a character. Very important. A lot of people, when they pass on, oh, this is a reminder because I see a lot of gray, white hair out there. A lot of people, when they pass on, don't understand the continuation of character. Yeah. Okay. Very important. And later we'll talk about the relationship again of character to self to character. Okay. Very important. A lot of people pass over, and if they have a sense of, if they get into a touch on self, are so happy to feel that freedom that they get real helium-y and really expand. And they think, this is it. I can't feel the body anymore. Oh, wow. And it's like, you just screwed up. You just screwed up. Along with self is a character. Some couple of you should know Henry Konos. Haven't talked to him in ages. I was talking to him the other day. For those that don't know him, he's on the other side, Aikido guy. And we were talking about this. I said, from the level you're at, what's your sense about this? Okay, so I have my sense and some of those sensei sense, but I wanted to, he's at a certain level, I wanted to get his sense. He said, yeah. And he said a very cute thing. He said, people really should have practiced this character, self sense here in the human world. Because he said, when they get there at the level he's at, they don't catch on to it if they don't have any previous sense experience of it. He said, this is a great play, this dimension here. I sometimes call the manifest world a Gold's Gym because it's definite and it's obvious and stuff. Anyway, so that was a very cute way he said that. You should have practiced, they should have practiced here to catch that there's a character that is ongoing and a self that is ongoing, a couple other pieces that are ongoing, but that's the moving out of the tight vortex into the heavenlies, into whatever we're supposed to go to finish all this up. Your godlike nature, I don't know. We'll see. We'll see when we're there. Which won't be the day after tomorrow, I'm sorry to say. Do the best you can. Learn all the tricks of the trade, get your practice time in here and now. And I'll go over that story again with the another angle on it. But I think enough. Enough for tonight? That it? I'm out of here. Oh, what's our date? Next date? First, whatever the first of what month will that be? August?
The the first Friday of August is August 4th.
4th, okay.
And then the third Friday is August 18th.
4 and 18, okay.
Yes, sir.
Also a reminder for the San Francisco types, I'll be teaching in San Francisco 1 o'clock this weekend, day after tomorrow, right? At the dojo in a strange neighborhood, yes. Chip, I expect to see you there. All right. Thank you, people.
Thank you, Sensei.
Thank you,
And good
Sensei.
evening,
Thank you,
everyone.
everybody.
Thank you, Sensei.
Thank you, Bob. Thank you, Lauren.
Good evening, everyone. Have a good weekend.